Only 3 hours left. This is about your sister. This Monday she will be tested, changed, and chosen. Archangel Michael says, the clock is not your enemy but your messenger, and its hands are pointing you to what must be done tonight. You feel the pulse of the hour in your chest, a steady drum that will not let you look away from what you already know. There are only 3 hours left to prepare your heart, your voice, and your courage for what is set to unfold this Monday, August 18, 2025. Tonight carries the scent of turning pages, a chapter that has waited too long to be read aloud. Your sister stands at the edge of a narrow bridge, and the air on both sides is different. One side is heavy with old fear, the other tastes like light. Before the sun rises on Monday, a choice will have already started growing roots in her, and your words are the water it needs. This message reaches you with urgency because some currents move fast and quiet. Your sister has been feeling a tug she cannot name, waking at odd hours, staring at the same paragraph of the same book, rereading a sentence that never seems to end. I am touching your shoulder now so you will step forward, because your voice is part of the bridge that carries her safely through the dawn. Do not search for thunder when the warning is a whisper. It hides in small details, the misplaced key, the message she forgets to mention, the sudden invitation that sounds neat and harmless because it is wrapped in polite words. What comes on Monday will look simple from the outside, but it will ask her to choose who she is on the inside. This Monday is not a storm, it is a sorting. The path she has walked in fragments is about to ask for completion, and the loose ends are reaching for a knot. Threads that once worked against each other are suddenly eager to be tied, and you are the hands that know how to make the knot strong. There is a room where her name will be spoken, and that sound will change how certain doors behave. Some will swing open without resistance and some will close with a soft click that feels like mercy. She will be offered a seat at a table that previously kept moving every time she approached it, and your steady presence is the chair leg that keeps it from wobbling. Someone near her carries a polished mask that smiles in the wrong places. They are not a villain with a cape, they are a gentle shadow that leans toward fragile moments and tries to nudge outcomes into smallness. Your sister has been generous with her trust, and Monday is the day generosity must stand beside discernment and call itself whole. You already know what she looks like when she is brave. The brave version of her is not loud, she is precise, like a poem that knows its own rhythm. She needs you to remind her of that rhythm so she does not dance to whatever song a crowd might play. Think of the tiny superstitions she has held since childhood, the little rituals that were never about magic but about meaning. Watch how she tucks her hair behind her ear when she is trying to hide a thought, or how her voice pitches up when she thinks she should not inconvenience anyone. Monday asks her to inconvenience fear. Between now and then, speak to her the way you would speak to a life you want to keep. Be specific and kind. Be the map that does not lie about distances. Tell her where the road curves and where it rises, and she will find her step. There is a letter folded in the pocket of time, and the crease runs through your family story. Monday is the moment that crease opens. From it will fall a photograph you thought was lost and a sentence you forgot you needed. You deserve uncomplicated good. She will stand at a door that pretends to be ordinary. It will not creak, it will not moan. It will wait for her hand, and the knob will turn like any other, yet the floor beyond it will feel different beneath her feet because the room is not for pretending. Do not let her go alone into spaces where her name feels like a borrowed coat. Walk with her to the edge of the meeting, the threshold of the office, the lobby of the place where decisions are made. If you cannot stand next to her, put your voice in her pocket and your belief in her spine. Your sister has carried a quiet fatigue from being good in rooms that prefer her small. She learned to shrink her applause for herself so others would not feel threatened, and she learned it so well that sometimes she forgets how to clap. Monday wants to hear her hands meet. There is a number that keeps appearing, on receipts, on clocks, in the shuffle of a playlist, and it is not superstition, it is rhythm. Life is tapping on the table to get her attention, and it is tapping for you too. When you both listen, you will notice the beat has been consistent all along. If fear shows up dressed as practicality, remind her that wisdom is not panic in a suit. Wisdom takes a breath, arranges facts, and refuses to call cowardice a plan. On Monday, the most practical thing she can do is trust the work already done inside her. There is a friend she has not called because the silence felt easier than the whole truth. Suggest that call, not as a rescue but as a relay. No runner expects to win with the baton held still. Hands must meet, weight must transfer, the race must become a shared momentum. Your sister has a story that tries to end every time she reaches a new paragraph. This time, do not let the period arrive too early. Make room for a comma, and let breath enter where finality once tried to sit. Some will say Monday is just another day. Those people have never watched a seed choose the exact minute to split and become a stem. They have never watched a name enter a room and rearrange the furniture without moving a single chair. You know the scent of the morning that changes everything. It always smells a little like metal and a little like rain. Monday will carry that scent, and her bones will notice it before her mind does. There is an email that will seem urgent and an opportunity that will seem small. Help her recognize which one is the real door. Urgency and importance are not twins, and the louder one is not always the leader. Tell her to eat before the meeting, to drink water before the conversation, to take the deep breath before the elevator stops. Tell her to print the document, to charge the phone, to carry the pen that never betrays her signature. When your body is ready, your spirit stays unshaken. You may feel the weight of too many ifs pressing into you tonight. Put them down like stones and choose the one that feels warm. That is the one connected to a living fire, and it will not scorch her, it will light her way. There is a person who learned your sister's schedule without asking permission. They think predictability is an open door. Remind her that routine can be sacred when it is chosen and dangerous when it is exploited, and Monday belongs to her choice. Do not let nostalgia bribe her. It will show pictures of back when and ask for current rent. Love the memory without letting it drive the car, because the road ahead deserves fresh tires. Your sister knows how to leave a room softly. Monday asks her to enter boldly. Boldness is not a shout, it is a posture that refuses to apologize for existing. There is a strand of worry braided into her sense of responsibility. Unravel it tonight with plain sentences. Say, you are not responsible for making everyone comfortable while you save your own oxygen for last. When the morning arrives, she will feel the hum before the phone vibrates. Do not fear that hum. It is the engine of alignment, a steady thrum that means the gears are catching and the wheel is ready to move. If a signature is placed in front of her, let her read it twice and listen once to her breath. Breath is the original counsel that does not invoice you later. If her breath steadies, the step can be taken. If it shortens, the step can wait. You will notice how even the light behaves differently when something true is near. It lays itself on surfaces with a certain clarity, not harsh, not vague. Monday's light will know her name. Your sister has practiced for this moment without knowing it. Every time she told the truth and then made tea to calm her shaking hands, she was practicing. Every time she returned to the task after the mistake, she was rehearsing. Someone will speak in gentle riddles to get her to slow down until opportunities pass. You will know them by their habit of making small delays sound elegant. Smile at elegance and keep walking. Elegance can visit without being given the keys. There is a jacket she keeps near the door that she wears when she does not want to be noticed. Monday asks for the other one, the one that fits like she chose it on purpose. Clothes cannot make courage, but they can remind it where it lives. If a memory of pain knocks during breakfast, invite it to sit and then ask it not to talk over the present. The present has a voice. It is steady, and it is done waiting. You might hear your own hesitation trying to echo inside her chest. Do not lend her your fear, lend her your steadiness. You can carry yours with you, but do not tuck it into her pocket by accident. There is a paper crane she folded years ago when patience was the only power she had. Monday will put wind beneath it. The crane will not fly away, it will fly toward. The car will start, the elevator will arrive, the door will click, and each of these ordinary sounds will feel ceremonial. Treat them that way. Reverence is how you tell the universe that you recognize a threshold. Someone will claim to have a shortcut. Do not follow it. The long way, which is really the honest way, has always been her path, and it gets her there without owing anyone a debt she cannot pay. She has one sentence that can unlock the room. Help her rehearse it once tonight. It will start with "I have decided," and it will end with a period that feels like a sunrise. When you speak to her now, use names for things. Do not call fear a concern, call it fear so it shrinks. Do not call hope an idea, call it hope so it stands up. There is a tiny scar on her confidence, almost invisible, shaped like a story someone else told about her. Monday is the day she returns the story and keeps the skin. Skin heals when it is named as whole. She will be offered a role that looks safe because it is small. The smallness will be disguised as certainty. Remind her that certainty without growth is a slow kind of vanish. If she wonders whether she is allowed to want the larger life, answer before the doubt completes its sentence. She is allowed. Desire is not greed when it invites purpose to expand. This is also about you, because you are the witness that makes it real. The world changes in bigger ways when someone who loves you sees you step forward and nods at the echo. Be that echo. A familiar corner may try to call her home with soft lighting and the smell of old victories. Thank the corner and keep moving. The next room has fresh paint that has been waiting to dry for years. If the moment shakes, let it. Not all trembling is weakness, sometimes it is voltage. Her courage will conduct it cleanly. The person who secretly resents her growth will hide behind jokes and backhanded compliments. Do not argue with them, do not feed them explanations. A boundary is a sentence that does not require applause. I am placing a calm in your palms. When you hand it to her, it will not look dramatic. Calm is sturdy, and it does its best work without fireworks. There is a list she has not written because she is afraid of seeing her wants lined up. Write it with her tonight. The page will not punish either of you for using ink. If she is offered a late-night conversation that feels slightly tilted, suggest the morning instead. Midnight is a stage where clarity forgets its lines. Clarity prefers fresh coffee and sunlight. On Monday, someone will test the quality of her silence. Silence can be either a fortress or a cage. Help her choose the one with windows. Do not let the word almost become a home. Almost is a rest stop, not a mailing address. The letter you are sending into her future needs a real destination. If you catch yourself editing your encouragement to be more palatable, stop. The truth is already digestible. Dilution makes it sticky. Say what you mean and let compassion carry the intonation. Your sister will find a small relief after she decides, like the first inhale after a held breath. That relief is permission to keep the promise she just made to herself. Stand near it and guard it while it roots. You may not be there for every second, but seconds are loyal in their sum. They gather. Trust the gathering. There is a window that she passes every day without looking out. Monday will ask her to look. The view has been practicing its welcome. Someone will attempt to make her choose between being kind and being clear. That is a false choice. Clarity is kindness to the future. If she hears footsteps behind her on the way to the elevator, they may belong to doubt trying to board. Let the doors close. Doubt can take the next car. She will remember a day when she was brave and alone. Monday she will be brave and accompanied. That is what your presence does. There is a word she has never reclaimed because the last person who used it made it sound like a blade. Give the word back to her with a new edge that cuts ropes, not skin. Words do not have to stay broken. If she is asked to defend her worth, redirect the scene. Worth is not a defendant, it is a witness. It tells what has already been true. You will notice how time behaves kindly when you are aligned. Minutes stretch, not to torture but to accommodate. The schedule becomes less a ruler and more a river. If a sudden tiredness visits, offer her a chair and a sip of water, and call the tiredness by its other name, release. She will stand again, lighter. The floor will thank her. There will be a moment when laughter tries to save the room from seriousness. Let it try, then let seriousness finish its work. Joy returns more honest when truth is not interrupted. On Monday, when her name is called, have her answer with both syllables of her courage. She does not need a speech, she needs a steady yes. The yes will carry her further than any explanation. If an old fear waves from the back row, wave back and keep your eyes on the stage. Not every ghost needs to be chased. Some fade when they are not invited to comment. Tell her that closing one door is not a betrayal of the hallway. Hallways are made for movement, not residence. You are both travelers, you are both allowed to arrive. She will realize that some promises were made when she was smaller. Monday allows renegotiation. The contract adjusts when the person grows. If she hears music in her chest, do not turn it down out of politeness. Turn it until it matches the room she longs to fill. Purpose has perfect pitch when you let it sing. You may feel tears press against your eyelids without warning. Let them go. Salt water is how the body writes a blessing on the cheek. When lunch tastes brighter than it should, it is because appetite returns when fear leaves the table. Feed it. Strong choices like to travel with fed bodies. There is a mirror that used to ask her to apologize for existing. Monday teaches the mirror a new question: how can I reflect devotion instead of doubt? She will like the answer. If she is late by a minute, tell her that grace is not a stopwatch. If she is early by an hour, tell her that readiness is not a sin. If she is on time, tell her it was always going to be. You can be the person who walks with her as far as the waiting room, the sidewalk, the lobby, the corner with the plant that never dies. Every threshold-like place needs a witness. You are that. And if in the last moment you do not know what else to say, speak her first nickname, the one only family uses, and remind her where love set its first landmark inside her. Watch how her shoulders lower. Watch how the door opens. This Monday, August 18, 2025, will not merely arrive, it will reveal. Your sister will be tested with gentleness, changed without breaking, and chosen by a life that always wanted her. You will stand near the hinge as it turns, and the turn will feel like coming home from a long, necessary journey. Keep these hours with intention. Let the small tasks be your candles. Lay out the clothes, set the alarm, charge the devices, print the page, underline the sentence. Every candle expands the circle of light. When night tries to bargain for your attention with a parade of what-ifs, choose one true what is. The truth is that she has built a self that can be trusted on the tilt. The truth is that you have stayed when staying mattered. I place a calm around the home, a clarity over the calendar, and a courage inside your family name. I close the door on confusion and open the window to breathable air. I appoint Monday as the day your sister recognizes her own signature. And when it is done, you will exhale a breath you did not know you were holding, and the air will taste like a promise kept. Your steps will sound sure. Your names will feel larger without being heavy. This is the hour you were given to be present, and presence is the miracle that hides in plain sight. Be present with her tonight in the way that opens Monday like a book worth reading slowly. Stay until the page turns by itself. I am with you in ordinary gestures that reveal sacred geometry. A hand on a shoulder draws a circle of safety. A steady gaze becomes a compass. Your sister is not late. She is precisely on time for her own becoming. Your family is not behind. You have been gathering the exact courage required. Monday is not a test to fear, it is a chance to answer in your own handwriting. Go now and set the room for the morning. Place the glass by the sink, the note by the bag, the reminder by the door. When she wakes, she will see that love has already been awake for her. I will meet her voice at the threshold of the call that matters. I will steady her breath when the elevator dings. I will smooth the air just enough for the sentence I have decided to glide true. Nothing essential will be lost in this crossing. What falls away was not meant to travel. What remains will be exactly what she needs to stand, to speak, to sign, to step. And you, keeper of the lantern, reader of the wind, sibling who learned patience without bitterness, you will be the first witness to the new outline that appears around her life on Monday. It will fit. It will hold. The 3 hours now are not a countdown to dread but to definition. You are both being defined by what you choose to honor. Choose devotion to what is true, and let the false tire itself out in the hallway. When the day is done and the soft dark returns, it will not feel like an ending. It will feel like a room that finally knows your names. Rest there. This is about your sister. This is about the steadiness you bring. This is about a Monday that will never again be just a day on a calendar. Archangel Michael says, "The night is a quiet architect, and every minute it lays down another beam to hold the morning steady." Your attention is the lamp that lets the architect see its own blueprints. Keep this lamp bright and unwavering for your sister as the hours fold toward Monday. The road before her is not random because your devotion has already drawn lines on the map. These lines are not fences because they do not trap her growth. They are guide rails that let momentum become safe power. Your sister carries a treasury of small practices that kept her soul intact when noise tried to rush in. Monday invites those practices to graduate from survival to leadership. She will lead herself through doors that once had her name misspelled. A person nearby is skilled at making hesitation sound thoughtful. Their pauses wear perfume so people mistake delay for wisdom. Smile at the perfume and move the conversation to the window where fresh air dissolves fog quickly. There is a folder in her bag that feels heavier than paper. The weight is significance rather than burden. Significance is a good heaviness because it announces value with quiet gravity. If she hears familiar footsteps that used to make her shrink, let the sound pass like weather. Weather changes without asking permission. Her posture will become a climate rather than a forecast. You have rehearsed listening for undertones that reveal intent. Use that gift gently and firmly. Gentleness without firmness surrenders, and firmness without gentleness bruises. A number will repeat on the screen as if counting her breath for her. Treat it like a metronome rather than a countdown. Music composed to this tempo will not rush or drag. You can place a single sentence in her hand like a key. It will be cut with truth instead of fear. Keys like that open outward rather than locking inward. If an old story tries to volunteer as a narrator, thank it for its service and end its contract. New chapters deserve new voices. Your voice will keep the narration honest and compassionate. There is a chair in a waiting room that once felt like exile. On Monday, the same chair becomes a vantage point. Perspective has always been the hinge that turns discouragement into clarity. Your sister has learned to translate criticism into signal. Signals that repeat without change are noise. Signals that evolve with her growth are worthy of attention. The elevator ride will be long enough for one deep breath and one complete thought. Let the thought be chosen rather than chaotic. Chosen thoughts become anchors where turbulence expected a sail. She will hold her ID with steadier fingers than she expected. Identity that used to feel fragile now behaves like tempered glass. Tempering is proof of heat survived without shattering. You are not an audience member because your presence shapes the stage. Stages respond to steady witnesses with cleaner acoustics. Clean acoustics let truth travel without distortion. Her shoes will carry her with the memory of other rooms where she stood up for herself quietly. Quiet does not equal smallness when conviction fills it. Conviction is the echo that never leaves when the room empties. If a compliment arrives wrapped around a leash, return it with dignity. Dignity untangles knots without tearing fabric. Monday asks for fabric that can be worn without compromise. There is a message that will arrive and pretend to be urgent business. Its urgency will be performative rather than essential. Essential matters do not require panic to prove importance. Your sister's eyes will recognize the person who once underestimated her. Recognition does not require revenge because progress is a better sentence. Let the sentence stand grammatically correct and complete. You can steady her by naming the next 3 actions plainly. Plain sentences are quiet courage. Courage that speaks simply often travels farthest. A hallway with photographs will feel like a museum of previous selves. Museums can bless without trapping. Bless and continue walking because the exhibit is a celebration rather than a cage. The signature moment will not be a flourish because the flourish is not necessary. Necessity is enough beauty for sacred paperwork. Sacredness appears when alignment inks the line. Your family story contains a branch that once grew in the shade. Monday moves that branch toward sunlight without breaking it. Growth without breakage is the miracle that chooses gentleness as its strategy. She will recall an afternoon years ago when she almost said yes to something that would have made her dim. The memory will arrive not as accusation but as education. Educated decisions make cleaner futures. If an offer appears that is safe because it keeps her visible but voiceless, let it pass. Visibility without voice is a glass box. Her life belongs outside boxes with an open sky above it. You will notice the city cooperating in small ways that feel like kindness. Lights will time themselves in her favor and doors will swing at the right angle. Cooperation from the world increases when inner worlds align. Your sister does not owe anyone the performance of uncertainty to make them comfortable.